Please
Yep.
call.
I'm ready.
Jim, please call the roll.
Newman,
Here.
Cameron,
Here.
Rautenstrau,
Here.
Mylum,
Here.
Cook.
Here. All right, let's go through our very lengthy agenda. Who wants the minutes? Tom, I see you've upgraded your Wi-Fi.
Why, do I sound better or look better?
You do.
We'll see what happens.
Both. All right, Mylum on the minutes?
You got it.
I think he raised his hand, all right?
Am I muted?
What?
No,
Never mind.
can you hear me? All right, all right, resolution 2, which is the sewer rent payment. Do we want to do council on that?
I think we should.
Yeah.
Everybody good on that?
Yep.
All right, don't have exec. So, well, let's go around the room. Mayor, we'll start with you.
Thank you. Received a notice from DOT that sometime next year, they're going to start bridge project over the Twin City Vietnam Veteran Memorial Highway. And there'll be lane restrictions, maybe a detour or two for off ramps. So as I get more information on that, I'll share it with everyone.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry. Note, the crossing signal at the Twin City Vietnam Memorial Highway, it's down.
It's down.
It's down. It's knocked down.
Signal's been told about 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're aware?
Yes.
Okay. Now, is the state fixing that, or are we liable?
No, the state.
Okay.
And Mayor, you said the bridge is going to be worked on next year?
Yeah, next year they're gonna they're putting all the bid specs together. They're gonna let the project in December with the idea of construction next spring.
Awesome.
Any other questions regarding
No,
that?
sorry, just while you were on that, I wanted to tell you about it.
No, no problem. Just to give everybody an update, we received a contract for 18 Young Street and 13 Fillmore. It is in the hands of our legal beagles right now, looking over, and as soon as we have something to share with you guys, we will. Milton Cat contract, still dotting the I's and crossing the T's, but we're really close on that and should have something ready here very shortly. Had a dock project and Empire State Development meeting this morning. Bidding for the dock project will occur on May 20th. Public notice to be sent out with a June open and a July through November construction. And it shouldn't impact with the cancellation of a lot of, if not all of the summer events, it shouldn't impact any summer events this year. The Empire State Development Project is moving along. They are getting some of their ideas back to us on what they would like to see, and we're hoping to start putting together bid documents for that project in the not so distant future. And last received an email regarding the Tonawanda landfill. May 11th, they're going to start reseeding and grading the work that was done over there, and complete additional testing at the site, and everything should be completed by the end of August, weather permitting.
Great, thank you.
That's all I have, other than Jason Knight's trying to sign in. And it's telling him he can't.
I admitted him.
I think I'm in.
He's there.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Never mind.
Mayor, do you have an update on COVID? Anything COVID related?
I mean, nothing really. I know the county is ready with their plan of doing antibody testing, and as with the case with the regular testing, they've had to put that on hold while they try to get the supplies necessary to do a mass antibody test on essential workers. So I'm hoping that by the end of the week, at the latest, they're able to release information on the antibody testing sites. There'll be 12 around the county, and they'll rotate on a daily basis to try to encapsulate everybody in the county. From the numbers that I'm looking at, we are outside of New York City. We are the worst in Erie County as far as cases and things of that nature. So I would expect that the state of emergency will extend for us past May 15th, while it might be lifted in parts of the state, like the southern tier, the Finger Lakes region, things of that nature. But as I said, we're just waiting and seeing what the governor comes up with. But if I were a betting man, I would say that until the end of May, at the very least, our stay-at-home order will be extended.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for the update.
Yeah.
Tom?
Okay, the resident at 91 Maldener, he has got serious concerns about the tree. I've talked to Mandy, and it's been going on for about 2 years now, but he will not fix anything on his house, sewers, or his driveway, or his roof until the tree is taken down. So he's got some issue, and I think we need to take a look at it. Serious look at it. I haven't heard nothing more since I've reached out to her. So I definitely want to try to take care of this guy if we can. Other than that, Mr. Mayor, have we heard from the governor at all about the tax interest and late payment?
No, I noticed that on one of the press releases, he authorized Westchester County and Nassau County to forego their late fees. I have not heard from him. I've had multiple calls, and I understand that it probably isn't. He's got other things to deal with, but we're hoping to handle. Moving forward, we're hoping to handle the next 30 days kind of in-house and leave it at that.
Well, it concerns me that he doesn't acknowledge, obviously.
Well,
It does take a whole lot to sign this in order. The whole state should have done this anyway. Not be ignoring. I mean, the entire state's in the same situation.
No, they're not.
A while ago.
Only small cities, and most don't have our due date.
Okay. Let's see. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Dawn?
I just had a resident reach out to me 3 or 4 times this week in regards to a gathering on Young Street across from Shabadoo's. But I did speak to Captain Foles in regards to it. So they are aware of it, but unfortunately, there's nothing that can really be done. The complaint was they weren't wearing masks, but they weren't standing next to one another. I did do a drive-by, and like I had explained to her, they are on their own property. My understanding is, our police are driving by, making sure that everything is being enforced, but there's really nothing that they can legally do. But that's all I have.
Thank you, Dawn. Sean?
Nothing really, but I mean, just on the tail end of that, obviously, I sent an email out to you guys that a friend of mine that resides in the apartments next to the Kibler residence reached out first just about the garbage over there, and I talked to Joe about making sure the can gets picked up, but just concerns with the amount of kids or people still in that park in the baseball diamonds on a regular basis. It's not going to stop. I don't know how you're going to stop it, but it's unfortunately, it's still out there. So I don't know if there's more we can do about it, but just letting everybody know. And that's all.
Thank you, Sean. Dave?
It's been pretty quiet around here. I don't have too much to discuss. Just driving by the river, I'm pretty concerned about the volume of people that are down there, and the total impossibility of social distancing. I mean, it's amazing to me to be able to drive from the sledding hill to the band shell and not see an available parking spot. And I can't blame people. It's nice. I want to be out too. It's just a concern. My other deep concern is, have we heard anything more about any reimbursement from the federal end or anything from that?
I haven't heard anything. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
No, I'm just getting concerned that, and we're not the only ones who need the help. It's everybody. But I'm just kind of, if there's something that we can be doing on the end of our city, if it's, I don't know. But getting things moving so that we don't have to, at the end of this fiscal year, play catch up and hope that things, even out.
Right, and I had a conference call with Congressman Higgins last week, and until some in Washington stop viewing this as a stimulus payment to cities and municipalities and view it more as a disaster relief payment, it's trying to get over that stigma of let's let these cities and states file for bankruptcy and let the chips fall where they may. We don't do this with other natural disasters around the country. When a hurricane hits, when an earthquake happens, when flooding happens, we don't tell states and cities and towns that they're on their own. This is a national natural disaster of epic proportion, and I would hope that maybe softening occurs in Washington to allow us to at least get some financial assistance to help us out. But both, I know myself, Chuck, Bill, and Jenner will be kind of getting together to go over some ideas that I have in order to plug the hole in the dike before it floods the surrounding area. So.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate your proactivity on that. I just, I know, and I hope that the residents understand that we're going to have to be faced with some pretty tough decisions, I think. And I just hope we can mitigate everything to, the minimum impact on everybody. So, thank you ahead of time. And if there's anything that you guys need, I'm happy to join in the committee or anything like that.
Thanks,
Thank
Dave.
Thanks, Dave. And just to piggyback on that, Mayor, Have we given any thought to kind of patrolling Niawanda?
We do have, the police officer that's responsible for that side of the city. They do take a drive around the park and tell people to disperse whenever necessary. But, with us working at 50% capacity and, trying to do the responsible thing, I mean, it would be great to place an officer down there and write, because we can write tickets.
Right.
And it would be great to be able to do that, but we're just not in that position to do that. We really need people to really do the right thing, and at the very least, just wear a mask. I mean, just wear a mask.
Yeah, and that's really going back to my concern is, there's a lot of people doing a lot of sacrificing, and with those size gatherings, all this could be for nothing.
Right.
And like you said earlier, we are, for some reason, Erie County is the New York City of the West here, and I just would really like to see people be a little bit more conscious of not only themselves but everybody else around them.
Exactly. And Doreen is still doing the wellness checkers?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Bill, did you have anything?
I did send over the overtime reports, the voucher summary, and the revenue and expense where we're at April. We're still staying pretty much on track with all of that. Our medical's a little bit on the low end because people haven't been able to seek, you can't have your hip or your shoulder done through this. So we've seen a little bit of a downturn. I don't know if that's going to come back when they start doing elective surgery again in Erie County. We'll see that. I sat through a FEMA conference today on what we can expect to get reimbursed as a disaster aid, not as a federal stimulus or federal relief in that respect. So they did make it pretty clear that the having employees work only so many of their hours, that's not considered to be the social distancing aspect isn't considered to be disaster relief. So they laid it out pretty clear on what purchases we've made that will qualify, and we haven't been expending large amounts of funds. This will come more when we start seeing the economic impact when the mayor sees that with our sales tax projections and with our state aid. So that's going good. From our tax perspective of collections, we're in a really strange boat here. Is that not many cities, the towns collect with their counties, so they're in February. So the cities, we're kind of our own special breed, and then the bigger cities have very odd dates throughout the year. They kind of collect on quarters. They don't do it the way we small cities do it. So North Carolina and Lackawanna and ourselves, we're there, but for the governor's perspective, he gave relief in Westchester because those cities are, he gave it till end of May. I would expect he might still come along and remember that we're up here. But, we really do have an odd date, and I can understand why it's not something that's high on his list. But that being said, our citizens were great. We're actually ahead of the previous couple of years in collections. We're right about where I would have hoped to be and a little bit better. So, our residents tend to plan. They saved. Our escrow payments were made, and we really haven't had a lot of people asking questions or complaining, and they're happy that you're hopefully tonight giving them the 30 extra days in the sewer bills. So they've actually been wondering why we haven't gotten them out yet, and they are at the printer. They will be out shortly, but they're more concerned about we want the bill so we can pay it sooner. So it's kind of a strange a scenario where we're trying to give them a break to give them a chance to help with their finances, and they're calling up saying, I really want to pay it now. I'm kind of mad that I can't. And we're only like 5 days behind where we normally would mail them out. So that's been the bulk of our calls lately, not tax calls. So, you know, the staff did a wonderful job. The DPW stepped in and helped us cone off the lot. We took care of a lot of payments, got everyone the receipts that requested them. It really wasn't a bad collection season, and I commend the residents for you know, taking care of that and not we didn't have a lot of questions. If anyone has any questions on what I sent over, if they want to email me later on or during the week, I can go over that. And I think that's it.
Bill, when do you anticipate the sewer bill out?
It's at the printer, so they're going to call me up in the next couple of days and say pick it up and mail it. So, I mean, honestly, if people call and want to know what their sewer bill is, I have it's in the system already. It's just at the printer getting printed.
Okay.
We gave it a little bit of a break to make sure that we didn't want to change. I really wanted the bill to have the proper dates on it. I didn't want to have to try to explain to people that they were different. But really, they get mailed out generally the 20th of April. They'll be out the first week in May, and we have it on there that it's June 30th. So, but if people want to call and find out what their bill is, we can tell them now.
All right. Great, thank you. Anybody have anything else? All right, so I know we have Jason Knight and Eric Lindhurst here. We're going to talk about the rezoning of the city downtown corridor area. Jason, you're on, right?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'll turn it over to you, Jason.
Okay, thanks. Let me just start quickly with a point. It's sort of outside the zoning world here, but I'm involved with a number of housing related COVID efforts here in the region. It's something the city probably needs to keep an eye on moving forward. You know, I'm just looking at some data here about employment in the city, and you know, you're at about 23% of people in the city working in industries that are pretty well hit by COVID, which is going to ripple down the road through mortgage payments, rent payments. So we're going to see foreclosures and evictions ramp up here in the city and around the region. It's just something that the city needs to be aware of. I'll try to keep everyone abreast of what I'm hearing. I'm trying to facilitate a regional housing summit with some of our regional housing partners, while I'm also co-leading the town of Amherst's housing recovery task force. So just something to maybe keep in mind. And if anything obviously pops up in the housing arena and anybody's got questions, you can certainly reach out to me on that end. So the other obviously real important reason I'm here and Eric is here relates to the downtown rezoning in the city. You know, I just kind of wanted to make a few critical points about the need to do this. Obviously, the most important reason for undertaking and kind of pushing this rezoning over the finish line here is that you know, a substantial portion of the effort that's been made in the last 6 or 7 years as it relates to comp plan, LWRP, the Main Street program, all of those things point to rezoning downtown at a bare minimum as a critical step in seeing those plans push forward, and seeing the vision that's created in those plans come to life in and around our downtown and waterfront. And the city's already spent, you know, considerable funds to have this downtown district drafted by Clark Patterson Lee. I talked to Brian Culpa last week for probably a good half hour, 45 minutes. You know, Brian was okay with us going ahead with this without Clark Patterson Lee. The standards of the ordinance is already done. It's been reviewed multiple times. I'm sure by everyone that's sitting in this meeting that had a chance to while they were on council or on planning board or on zoning board or one of those things. Everyone's reviewed it. It's been commented on. It's been assigned a section number for the zoning code, I assume by the city attorney's office or by someone. So it's ready to sort of have that last kick over the finish line, which is undertaking a public hearing, the public notification that goes with that process. And that includes the environmental seeker review, completion of environmental assessment form, and notification of impacted and adjacent landowners. So it's just really at this point a procedural step for the city. I know there's a question about costs. I think I tried to answer that in an email to everyone here. Costs should be limited to postage and mailing as it relates to notifying impacted and adjacent landowners. There's potentially a cost associated with updating the zoning ordinance on the city's third-party publication website. I think you guys might use E-code or MuniCode. That would have to be changed. And maybe a public hearing notice. I don't know what the cost of a public hearing notice is, but that would be probably included in this. And the rest of the cost is borne by, obviously the Development Corporation paying to have this shepherded through. Clearly, some of that money comes from the council, and we definitely appreciate that. So in some ways, it's kind of a workaround. They're supporting this effort to get it done. I want to add too, though, there's one sort of secondary step that I think needs to be taken or should be taken concurrently with this, and that is an effort that was started maybe 6 years ago with Eric and myself and Charlie Reck, trying to convert the city's paper map. If you walk in the front door of the building department, you see that big paper map on the wall that looks like it was made in the 1970s because it was made in the 1970s. That map's got to go. It's inefficient, ineffective. It's almost impossible to interpret in a lot of places where the zoning boundaries are. The city zoning ordinance isn't specific as to where zoning boundaries actually lie. So we have cases where a property has 2 or 3 zoning districts, and there's no guidance on where the line actually is. So a lot of codes where that happens, it'll say, the line is parallel to Main Street and it's 500 feet off the right of way. We have none of that guidance in there. So the effort was made to transfer that to a parcel-based zoning, so every parcel gets a single zoning classification. When we did that, based on converting that paper map in its districts to the parcels, we were left with about 100 parcels that we found to be erroneous or confusing or hard to interpret. And I think the city would be wise to make the step in cleaning that up in this same process. It would save you, potential issues down the road, but it'll save you, if we do it in this process, the notification costs, we're doing it once, the public hearing, we're doing it once. And then we're at the end of it, you have a zoning code or a zoning map that is electronic, easily updated, easily managed. Maps are easily made for anyone who needs one. And the whole process becomes a lot more efficient in building and engineering those offices. So my suggestion would be that we tackle both of those at once, and we notify those property owners that would be affected by that change, and then nearby owners. And I would just say that that's not really a rezoning, for people that would be impacted here. I think I used in the email the house next to Ranks on Fletcher and Franklin. The lot line, that property's in 2 zoning districts. The lot line cuts the house in half, or the zoning district cuts the house in half. Half of it's in like C2 or R something, and the other half is in another district. We would just place that house because it's a residential unit in R2, which is what the district it's really in, and then we just notify them that we're cleaning up the use, attach the use, the zoning districts of the actual use of the property. So in every single case, all we would be looking at is making sure that the proper zoning district was represented by the proper use of an individual parcel. So I don't think in that case it would be anything contentious. So that's I guess the short spiel of it. I don't want to bore you with the details of what's in there. I mean, if anyone has any questions, I can certainly take them on that. And Supervisor Culpa was willing to answer any questions that anyone might have or provide any guidance, since his firm was the one that did the legwork on the project. And I don't know if Eric has anything to add, but I'll let him if he has it.
No, nothing.
Jason, do you know what we paid out to Clark Patterson Lee on that project?
I seem to think that the price for the zoning code in and of itself, that central retail district design standard document that I sent you was over $10,000, somewhere in the low
Okay,
double, 10 to 12. So you've got plenty
yeah,
of
that's what I
skin in the
thought,
game
okay.
on this thing. And let's
Yeah.
not forget the amount of money that went into the comp plan, the LWRP, and Main Street. All of those point at this to be a critical implementation step. So you guys have done all of the hard work and the hard expenditure now.
So, council, do you have any questions? So Jason, how about Dawn and I take a resolution and we can send it over to you and the council and Rua for our next meeting?
Do you need to do
Work for you?
do you need to do it? So you need to, if we want to do this, we need I don't know, what's it, 30-day notice for public hearing, that kind of stuff. I'm just trying to think long-term what the time frame and the schedule would be to make
Right,
this happen.
right. So I think next steps would be a commitment to doing this.
Okay.
Just kind of bring it back and then, have the public hearing. And then following the public hearing, we take the comments from the public hearing. And then obviously we have to move forward with the seeker and all that fun jazz.
Yep. And I'll complete the environmental assessment form and any of the outside applications that have to be sent to outside agencies. And if the city could just cover the cost of sending those out. You'd be the agency anyway, so you would have to do that. But I'll help prepare those letters that have to go to any of the agencies that are jurisdictionally connected to an approval. So it'd be Canal Corp and those types of agencies.
Yeah. Eric or Jim, do you know what it costs to update the E-code?
I do not. It'd have to be a Jim question.
Okay. Jim, do you have any idea
How much it would cost?
to just update that section of the code?
Oh, well, we have the code updated twice a year. That's part of our agreement with municipal code.
Okay.
They do upgrade. So based on any ordinances that we pass or changes to the ordinances, they would update our code. Municipal code does that twice a year.
Jim, is that on a fixed
So
schedule?
I'm
So
just
they
trying to
would
get a
do
ballpark.
July 1 and January 1 or something like that?
Yeah, like at the beginning of January and beginning of July, I forward them all of our minutes from our council meetings that have any changes to our ordinances, and then they in turn go and update our municipal code. Municipal code goes through and updates all of our ordinances that have been affected.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get a ballpark here of what this would cost us to move forward. Are we thinking less than $1,000?
Do you guys get like a bulk mailing cost, like a bulk mail break?
It would depend on the total. It would depend on the number of parcel or how many mailings, how many properties would be involved in the mailing. So
Plus advertisements.
plus advertising, right?
Well, let me dig in a little bit. It seems to me that, when you do a municipal wide rezoning, you don't notify 6,400 parcel owners, right? That there's a different method. Let me see if I can, maybe the city attorney's office might know, but let's see if I can dig into what level that we would have to get to the public notice would be acceptable as notification.
Okay. Once you get that, let us know, okay?
Yeah, I'll see what I can dig up.
Okay. All right, anything else? Jason or Eric, do you have anything additional?
No, I think that was it. If anyone has any questions, obviously you've got my contact info. You can reach out. Along the way, if something pops up, please reach out as well. I want everyone to know what it is that they're doing and adopting, right? I don't want you to kind of adopt something because I told you to, or another consultant said do it. So those that haven't maybe read this before might want to take a peek at it. But other than that, I'm pretty okay with it.
Oh yeah, rest assured, you're not strong arming us, so.
Wasn't trying.
I know. All right, does anybody have anything else? Great, then let's move forward with our formal setting. Thanks so much, Jason and Eric.
Thanks, you guys. Take care. Stay well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Yes, you
See you
too.
later.
Bye, Eric.
All right, let's call the meeting of the City of Tonawanda Council to order. Please call the roll.
Newman,
Here.
Kimmerdiner,
Here.
Raudenstrau,
Here.
Mylum,
Here.
Cook.
Here. All right, Jim, can you lead us in the pledge? We're recording. Correct? Yeah.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag of the United States of America.
And to the republic.
Republic for which it stands. One
One
nation,
nation,
under God,
Invisible.
indivisible,
Liberty.
liberty and justice for all.
For all. We were a little
Yeah.
off cue.
Gotta be a better way.
All right, I wanted to thank Associate Chaplain Dana Bell, who submitted a prayer. Lord, our rock and redeemer, thank you that you are perfectly faithful. You never forget, never fail, and never take back a promise. Oh, Jesus, my great healer, you are high and lifted up, the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and end. There is like you. We fix our eyes on you, and we ask you to guide our thoughts and actions as we attend to the issues concerning our community. We humbly ask ourselves and ask that you may work through us to better serve those that we represent and allow us to put petty politics aside and give real direction and action to the current health issue that is affecting the entire world. We ask that you grant healing and life to all of us. May we live life in all its abundance. May the works of God be displayed in us. The thief has come to steal, kill, and destroy, but thank you, Jesus, you came to give abundant life. We thank you, dear Savior, for pouring out blessing after blessing. Amen.
Amen.
Communications from the mayor have been ordered and filed. Communications from city officials and correspondence have also been ordered and filed. I'm going to deviate away for a second. I have a statement to read to you, given to us by our city engineer. The City of Tonawanda's municipal separate storm sewer system, also known as MS4, draft annual report for the period of March 2019 to March of 2020 is available for public review and comment until Wednesday, May 27th of 2020. The report and public comment form can be found on the city stormwater page, tonawanda.city.com/residents/engineering and /stormwater. And just for point of information, the city prepares an annual MS4 stormwater report that is then sent over to the DEC. Right, now at this time, we'll take comments by the public on the resolutions. Please state your name and address for the record. All right, let's roll.
Okay, resolution number 1 by Councilmember Mylum.
We have a second.
Second, Madam President.
Second by Mr. Newman. Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Newman,
Aye.
Kimmerdiner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
Aye, declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 2 by the council, seconded by the council.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Newman,
Aye.
Kimmerdiner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted. We do not have executive session. So we move forward. Take comments by the public following the resolution. Please state your name and address for the record. And Sean, if you could just unmute anyone from the public who's on. Any comments by the public following the resolutions? All right, last call. All right, Mr. Newman.
First, I'd like to thank the Job family for their quarantined ferry program that they are involved in or initiated. I'm not exactly sure. My granddaughter really liked it. So another thing that the public is doing during this time to, kind of ease this, I don't even want to even call it chaos through this pandemic. So it's a good thing. And we got to love your community for this stuff. And the only other thing I would have is I was curious how my GoFundMe page was going. Because I did have to buy a new laptop and I had to pay an electrician to wire me hardwire so I wouldn't have these issues. So
It's
I was
working.
just wondering how that was going.
It's working.
I got to pay the bill. That's all I have, Madam President. Thank you.
Mr. Newman, I just want to clarify, you had to hire an electrician?
Well, I hired myself, but that's beside the point.
Oh,
It's all about numbers. You got to have money going out, money coming in, right? So you only have one man on the job, so I had to do it myself.
all right, thanks, Mr. Newman. Kimmerdiner?
I have nothing to report this week.
Thank you, Mrs. Kimmerdiner. Mr. Rautenstrau?
You're muted.
Who's running this thing?
I know, right? Phone was ringing in the background. I just want to start thanking by thanking Jason Knight to speak to us. And I've had the fortune of being on the council a couple of years ago, and we talked about a lot of the LWRP, the comprehensive plan, and the Main Street Committee. That all migrated towards this, and I think it's important to move on with the implementation of a lot of this. I think we're heading in the right direction. I know we've had a little setback right now with everything going on, but I hope we can continue to move forward with that. He brings up some great points, and it's great to see this moving forward. What else? I also want to comment too that it's great that everybody's involved in this. It's great to see our city attorney jumping in on this and everybody else embracing this technology. I appreciate that the council's and the mayor's office has licensed Zoom for them and is going to be using it in through other means, through other committee meetings, other board meetings. I don't see what's going on right now ending soon and ending quickly if it does. I think we're going to be moving slowly towards all of us being able to get together and all of us talk. So I look forward to using this more frequently. I use it in my own work life, and it's great to see it here. And I thought too, as I talked in passing with Dawn, and maybe as we move forward, to use this to reach out to some more of our residents. I think we've had it'd be a great opportunity with talking about the development of the LDC and downtown. And the development that's happening on Young Street, that we get the opportunity to maybe use this to reach out. We had the council on the corner that Jenny had. I kind of was having a concept of doing some councilman in the cloud. Might be a good idea to draw people in, get some more people engaged, and maybe all of us utilize it. I think Bill did a great job with talking about his workshops with the budget and maybe bring some people in with that. I just think it's a great opportunity to be more inclusive of our residents and put it on a better time frame for them to be more involved. So I hope we can see more of this. That's really all I had to say. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Rounstrau. Mr. Mylum?
I really don't have too much to report. I just want to let people know I hope that everybody is well. I hope their families are well. It's exceedingly good to see everybody. It's getting more and more difficult every day to be in the house. So it's good to see a change of people and faces. And even though it's difficult to stay away from social gatherings at this time of year, I just kind of hope that everybody takes everybody else into account and can continue to social distance and do whatever they need to do to help us all get through this. So thank you. And again, it was really good to see everybody.
As well.
Thank you, Mr. Mylum. Mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. Just a recap on a few things that we talked about on informal. Notified by the DOT, bridge construction is going to happen on the Twin City Vietnam Veteran Memorial Highway. The project will be let on December of this year with construction happening next spring. So there'll be some lane restrictions and things of that nature. And as soon as I get more information throughout the process, we'll share it with the council and the residents. Bidding for the dock project will occur starting May 20th with a June open and a July through November construction season. So be aware of that. Our Empire State Development Project is moving along, and we're working closely with Empire State in order to bring that home. The Tonawanda landfill on May 11th, they'll start reseeding and grading the area that for the fuse wrap contamination that was removed, and they'll be conducting additional testing throughout the summer with a completion by hopefully Labor Day, weather permitting. So just to keep that on everybody's radar. I want to thank Jason Knight. He has been a huge benefit, not only to myself, but the city, and trying to implement the plan moving forward for the city for the next 15, 20 years. And we started with the local waterfront plan, moved to the comprehensive plan, Main Street program, which morphed into the LDC, and our zombie 1.0 and 2.0, which also morphed into COT United. So we've had some wonderful things over the last 6 years come about from the city's perspective as far as planning goes, and residents stepping up and willing to devote their time, which says a lot about some of the members of our community that we have. So I want to thank them and thank him, and this downtown rezoning district and the cleaning up of the parcel map is just the next step to kind of laying the groundwork for when we're no longer either on the council or in the mayor's office. And last but certainly not least, I know everybody's itching to get in social settings and enjoy some of the warmer weather. I would hope that I don't see what I saw this weekend down at the river, which was people walking around without masks on. It's simple to do. Just put a mask on and you can enjoy the outdoors. And you know, like the Metallica mask I'm wearing, and you can show your either favorite sports team or your favorite color. But I just want to tell everybody, please mask up and follow proper social distancing. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things, you know, tomorrow kicks off Nurses Week. Being in the healthcare field, I get to see firsthand our nurses and all they do. So I want to give them a shout out. You know, in this day, with everything we have going on, you know, they do more than a week, but tomorrow kicks off Nurses Week. So, you know, take the time out to thank a nurse. You know, also to that point, we're in the thick of Teacher Appreciation Week. So I want to give a shout out to Councilmember Dave Milam, who is a teacher and his full-time job, and all our teachers out there and parents who became teachers overnight. So thank you for all you do day in and day out as well. You know, I hope everyone is staying healthy and safe. I don't have a pet at home, or else I'd put him on my lap too. So it's good to see the mayor's dog and council member Don Cameron Dyer.
And just trying to keep them quiet.
No, it's good. I want to give a shout out to Jean Pemberthy, whose granddaughter is our deputy city attorney. She recently celebrated her 100th birthday. So happy birthday to Jean. And Brittany, I hope you got a chance to visit with her, and, you know, from 6 feet away, but please give her our best wishes and send her our happy birthday.
Thank you, Jenna.
You know, last, oh, what's that?
I just said thank you.
I also want to thank Jason. Oh, you're welcome. I also want to thank Jason and Eric for joining us tonight. It is great to see the progress that we have made on Main Street, and I do look forward to you know, continuing with those discussions and seeing what happens with that. And certainly, last but not least, May is also Brain Cancer Awareness Month. As many of you know, my best friend's sister is battling brain cancer. So please keep all those in your thoughts and prayers that have been diagnosed with this beast, and all those lives that have been lost as a result of brain cancer. With that said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Madam President.
Second by Mr. Newman. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, have a great night, everybody.
Thanks, you too, guys.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Stay
Happy
safe.
Cinco de Mayo.
Stay safe. Thank you.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.